Ah, screw it. Let's just go for game. Let's go for game. Let's go for game. Let's go for game. Come on, draw trigger. Come on. There's 2 left. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There's no grade 3s. We won. Double draw trigger. We're so good. We're so good. We're so good at this game. We're so good at this game. Why are we so good at this game? Why are we so good at this game? Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're gonna jump back to JP and try the next stage. So, Set 4 came out 17 days ago as of the recording of this video. And if you've seen the day 1 streams, we got next stage very quickly. Did I pull the other stuff yet? Unfortunately, no. Not until this moment when I decided to just screw it and craft some of the pieces because they do give boosts for Imaginary Tower, and I really do want to play this deck before it loses out on relevancy anyways. So here's the list I have. I've been playing this for quite a while now, and this is what I really like. So starting off with the starter, we have the 4K Grade 3 Searcher. Now this card I really do like, because even though it doesn't have the pseudo resist, it does help you search for grade 3 before your grade 3 turn. The other one is GB1 restricted. What that means is you can have better consistency going into any grade 3, but especially Chronojet, as that is your core piece. Especially one more thing is that all the starters have the new going first, going second adjustment, where if you go first you get to draw a card. All the starters have that skill, so you don't really have to think about that when choosing your starter. Next, we play 4 of the Stride Fodders, as usual, for the PGs, as usual. We play 2 GGs for the Soul Blast 2 draw 1. Reason being is because the deck doesn't really draw besides using GG, so it's always an important piece. I don't see it leaving the deck soon, but we are cutting it from like 3 to 2, I believe. Before I used to be playing 3. Because we aren't playing as many soul charge cards, we're not rewriting as much, and so GG at 2 is fine. You can search this out. There's many ways to search it out, and when you call it, you can still loop it, swap it for something else, and it's nice like that. And we are playing 3 of the Countercharger, Rearguard Circle once per turn, GB1. During your main phase, when a opponent's unit is returned due to your card effect, return to the deck due to a card effect. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Chronojet, you can countercharge 1. Honestly, this card is decent, but I'm not a super big fan of it. Reason being is because it requires a Chronojet name, it's once per turn, it requires GB1, and also it's main phase only, so when you use your heart skill, when your stride skills and whatnot, it doesn't proc the countercharge. It's still fine, it's a 7k vanilla. You can still choose to play the Soul Charge 1 on place. Reason why I'm not playing that is because we gave up the Legion in the deck, and so, you know, thinning the deck too fast has been a bit rough. Like, I have went into games where I wouldn't have lost, but I have decked out because I did play the Soul Charge ones, and I used GGs aggressively. And so the counter charge, it's nice, it's there. Next stage does cost Counter Blast. You know, your Chronojet skill is Counter Blast winning every single turn, so it is fine. It is fine. For the grade 2s, we're playing 3 of the 9+2s. So +1, Counter Blast 1 if it's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater Chronojet, return something. So that's nice. You can still get the +2 even if you don't return anything. We play 4 of the Resist because Resist good. First skill, I'd say I rarely use it these days, but it's still an option that you can use. Especially since you do have more main phase, you know, removal right now. We play 2 of the on place, Counter Blast 2, return a grade 2 or less. Reason being is because we do have the Countercharger now, so it's less expensive. And it's also nice to just have this to remove your opponent's starters before they can actually do some shenanigans with them. And lastly, we play 4 of the new unit. I forgot the name, but Rearguard Circle GB1. When it attacks a Vanguard, you can choose to get +4k. If you do choose to get the extra power at the end of the turn, at the end of the battle, return this to your deck and call a grade 1 out and shuffle. So the combo, well, is you use this by itself, 13k or hit numbers, you call it GG, so let's 2 draw 1, and then now you have enough cards to use Nextage. How often would you actually do that? Honestly, I've done that like maybe 1 out of 10 times. Reason being is, you know, GG is something you can like, you know, call out really early on. It's something that usually just ends up in my hand. And another target you can just search for is the countercharger to set up for your next turn, actually. So, you know, that you know, the GG draw 1 play is perfectly, you know, perfectly valid. But just being able to hit 13, there are a lot of matchups where there's plenty of removal. So just, you know, dipping and calling something out is very Spike Brother-esque. You know, you're just, you know, replacing it. Your opponent's probably gonna have front row removal anyway, so you're just protecting it, and I'm getting something else to set up for the next turn anyways. For the grade 3s, we are playing for the Chronojet. This is your main unit. You have the guard restrict on GB2, which synergizes really well with Nextage, because Nextage removes itself and then you restand with base Chronojet. When you stride, -1 return something, it's really good, and 14k when you ride it. We play one of this, whatever, it's really a whatever slot. Vanguard Circle GB1, -2 to return something. It's nice if you brick severely, I guess, because you know, you can -4 and return both front rows and still YOLO for game, I guess. And I guess when it attacks, it gets +2, so it hits numbers. And we are playing this. I'm using this because I don't remember the name. Regular Circle GB1, when it attacks, you can -1 and return one of your opponent's front row. Will you use this often? Not really. Not really. What you're using this often, and the reason why we're playing 4 is because it has the second skill. When you stride it, you can, once per turn, -1, choose a Chronojet from your deck and put it into the soul, and then put this back to the deck. What this means is, because you know your Nextage, your Pegasus, Upheaval Pegasus, you have a couple strides that require Chrono to be in the heart, and this unit helps you do that. So why not increase your consistency, and then, you know, your subsequent strides can also use the -1 from a Chronojet and all that. So that's why we play this at 4. For the grade 4s, we play 2 Nextage, which says GB2. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks a Vanguard. If your heart is a Chronojet, -1, G persona flip, discard 3 cards from your hand, and remove this to the G zone face up, and then restand your Vanguard and draw 2 cards. So, you know, your Chronojet at GB2 is a 16k beater with a booster. It's very nice. It's essentially a multi-attack restanding Vanguard, except you can argue it's better because your Chronojet has that guard restrict. So yeah, one thing to note is that your Chronojet should be setting itself up to hit over 26k numbers, so you don't get shut down by your opponent's heal guard, because the guard restrict only works against grade 3s and sentinels. And what you can do is to set up a booster behind your Vanguard and hope for a trigger. So that's the way to go. We play 1 Upheaval Pegasus. I know Zura doesn't really like Pegasus, but I'm a big fanboy for Pegasus. You know, he knows that resist is great, and what can I say? Removing resist is also great. You know, being able to remove your opponent's resist units. I know there's still a chance aspect to it, because your opponent, you could return 2 of your opponent's resist units and call 2 resist units back, but still the ability to do that is still very nice, especially early game when you don't need to go into Nextage or anything else yet. We play 2 of the Fate Rider. Fate Rider is still amazing as always. This is generally speaking your first stride target. Being able to fix up your board, you can swap your grade 1s into grade 2s, you know, like calling a GG for the Soul Blast to draw 1, and then swapping it out for like a resist maybe, or a 13k beater. You can swap a trigger in your hand or this starter for a grade 1. You know, there's a lot of shenanigans you can do, and if you lose it later in the game, you also get the extra 3k for each face-up G unit. So it's very good. It's very good. We play 2 of the Ravenclaw. Still very solid, you know, guard restrict, keeping your opponent at 4. You can set up your GB2 early if you want to. Rarely though, right nowadays, because you do Fate Rider still does a lot of stuff. You know, crit and returning something as well. And lastly, we play 1 of the on hit. It's just an option, and you can play a lot of other stuff like Chronos Command. You can play the you can play the harmonics. You can play maybe this, but you do counterblast quite a bit nowadays, so rarely so. But yeah, that's basically it. Epoch, I'm not a big fan of. Yeah, it requires too much setup, and it's hard to build the numbers, assuming you are already on Chronojet and using the CB1. So that's basically it with the list. First, we are going to go into probably the countercharger, honestly. Grade 2, we are probably going to go into this, or maybe this, because we have 4. I think grade 3s we're going to go into Chronojet, and then maybe this to substitute if we don't see the Chronojet. And for our first stride, Fate Rider, already on hit. Pegasus is situational, it's a tech. And then for the second stride, maybe Fate Rider again, or the Ravenclaw, and then go for game with Nextage. When you have a healthy hand size, or just desperate plays. So that's basically it. Let's go into a game and see how this deck performs on ladder. Honestly, Chronojet and Gear Chronicle has been my main on JP for a very long time, and there are a lot of options with Gear Chronicle, and it does need some getting used to with the plays, because I think the biggest difference for me is at the beginning when I started playing the deck, I didn't have Fate Riders and all that, so I needed to rely on more aggressive options. But with Fate Rider, it fixes the bricking, and you have so much removal, you have resist, and there's just ways to tech into situations that and kind of solve the situation that other decks can't really do, right? Like Pegasus plays around resist units, Fate Rider helps unbrick your hands, and so on and so forth. So it's really nice. I really like Gears, and one of the problems is that the deck is a bit slow because a lot of skills require GB1, but that's fine. Every deck has its strengths and weaknesses. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you're against Gears, rush them down if you're afraid of all that stride shenanigans. So here we're gonna just go into the countercharger here. Starter, generally I'm going to put in the signs. Reason being is because we do have like a 9 plus 4, 13 plus 4 is 17 number, and the 9K's got to have that 4K beater booster to actually hit those 11K Vanguard numbers. So that's how I like it. The 4K behind the Chronojet. 11 plus 4 doesn't do much. Maybe 18 on the first ride turn if you're going first, but like 16 plus 4, 20, that also doesn't do much. So yeah, I'd rather just save that spot for GG or something and do something about that there. So we're gonna ride into this. Not like we have the counterblast to use it anyways. I'm gonna use the counterblast one to check out 5 for a grade 3. Oh, we whiffed. That's okay. We're gonna GG first. Let's draw 1. Oh, still no. Alright, well. Let's just call 1. Ditch 1 and draw 1. What should I ditch? I'll ditch this. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chrono. Of course. It's guaranteed. Battle. If I want to play more aggressive, I could build that 12K column. If I'm going second, I could consider that, but I'm going first, which means even when I'm on my grade 3, I can't Fate Rider immediately and fix that column. So I'm just going to choose to play it sparsely and consider what to commit the next turn, depending on what our opponent places down on their board right now. So they are playing the GB1 starter. This one doesn't have pseudo resist. It gets plus 3K whenever a player's units are bound. So that's interesting because generally speaking, grade 3 searcher is the most prevalent. But they're gonna go just deal 2 damage. And that's fine. We do have double resist to just block out, the Vanquisher shenanigans. We're gonna hit that damage trigger, draw. All right. Let me turn on animations because I forgot. It's okay. They're not grade 3s anyways. But we did draw into another Chronojet. So all that shenanigans, whatever. It happens. It's fine. They're all GB1 skills, so that is something to be wary of. I'm just going to call 2. I don't want to take too much damage here. And one thing I'm not doing anymore is, like, in the previous Chronojet profile, I did play the 2 crits. I'm not playing those crits anymore One thing is because the crits used to maybe help increase your odds of hitting the Mystery Flare. We don't have space for a Mystery Flare anymore. It's still too RNG for my taste when you have so many good options already. You also don't need, well, you want to set up that next stage into Chronojet play, and that crit could, affect that. So that is also something to consider. But if you still want the crit, it definitely does help with your GG's soul cost. So it could be something to think about. It could also help you when you restand your Chronojet after the next stage push, to just pop it by 5k and hit over that defensive heal guard number. So it is something to try around with yourself. It just doesn't work well with me. I definitely think that there is still room for testing with that option. So on hit, MS1 draw 1. That is fine. And here, maybe an option like Chronos Command would be great. But honestly, Fate Rider, just getting the resist is more than fine enough for me. Just pushing for some damage and all. So we're just gonna stride into Fate Rider. On hit is fine as well. Ditching the Chronojet. SP. Gotta flex that SP. We're gonna dump the grade 2 back, so we got 3 shots clear to the face. We have this. We can consider standing up because our opponent's gonna bounce anyways. Toss the GG back and get the resist out. Can't resist the resist. It's just good. It's just good. We're gonna call this out. Battle. Yeah, we'll use the skill to get 4k. I feel like the text is a bit redundant, plus 4k, and then if you plus 4k, then whatnot. We're gonna set up the counter charger here. We do have 1 soul for the. I think it's called Steam Breath, right? Steam Breath. Heal, very good. Heal, very good. All right. We see nothing. Okay. So yeah, like Vanquisher was going to retire it anyways and bind it, whether that's Vanquisher's skill or Conquest. But if I dip it, I have something in the back. I still have the resist that they can't touch, and it's basically the same results. I'm just denying them of their 1 retire and bind. And I guess you could stretch it and say it's 1 extra grade 2 target for Fate Rider. That's not really the intention of Fate Rider, but I guess it is an additional little thing. So yeah, they're gonna stride probably into Conquest to pump up numbers. Alright, just gonna go back into the Zora. Just try to 50-50 the back row, that's fine. It's not like we really need the counter charge anyways, but alright, playing the stands, I love it. It does mean that they are going to be able to bounce those stands back and counter charge 2 and draw 2. Alright, that could be the one from just now. You never know. Attack. I think if they're playing the stands, they should fix up their columns though. It's a bit awkward with that 12 and that 13. But if it was only 2 stands, then I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, that's a PG. That's not pretty. Okay, they whiffed the 50-50. It's fine because we're just gonna use the Chrono Heart skill anyways. It's not like we're gonna actually get much out of this because they didn't set up double intercept. Like if they set up double intercept, I'd use the stride skill on 1 and then the steam breath on 2, and then the counter charge would come in play. But right now, I think we're gonna go for a next stage play, so it doesn't matter that much. Do we go for next stage or a Fate Rider play? We don't have any resist units anymore. I think, honestly, with showing 2 heals, a next stage play could be spicy. I think, yeah, let's just go for next stage. Let's just go for next stage. Next stage, pop the front row. We're gonna hit 16, 11, 26, and 23. But the PGs, they're so nice, in the hand. They're so nice. So nice to see. 2, 4, 6. Let me just bounce this. I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, and there you go. That's the counter charge. So I'm trying to pull out the heal guards. Oh, no heal guards, just PGs. Alright then. Let's just keep going. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling. Okay, yeah, so like, I know they don't have heal guards, so I'm even more confident to just go for it. Just push. Just push. Set next stage goes for game. There you go. And even if they do heal, we can restand and it's over. It's GGWP. Yeah, did the counter charge make that much of a difference? I don't know, but let's do that again, I guess. So yeah, like you can see, did the counter charge do that much work? Not really. But I think it's a matchup thing. It's a matchup thing. You know, in some grindier matchups, the counter charge one could help because it means that every single time you stride, it does one more thing. All right, we're going to be playing a mirror. So again, resist good. Resist good. So set up resist and win game. So here we're going first. Riding the GG is fine. PG is nice. To just block against the riding clock. All right, they're playing the GB1 starter. All right, let's ride the 7K. Kind of want that number so we don't get bullied too early. Yeah, and then grade 2, we're probably gonna ride into this, and then save the resist for later when your opponent goes into the grade 3 turn. So they are playing the Soul Charge one on place. Oh, Soul Charging the PG, that's pain. That's pain. And I do think that this set of support does make Gear Chronicle more Dark Zone-esque. You know, you have the on-play Soul Charges that the Pale Moon and Dark Irregulars have. You have. Okay, we go into this. That's fine. I guess I can show it off. You have the returning to the deck kind of shenanigan that Spike Brother has. So there is quite a lot of stuff. You can kind of see why they chose to put it in Dark Zone, I guess. They still play with the soul and the kind of like, you know, the technical kind of play that comes with being edgy in the Shadow Realm. 99. Still playing the Legion. I think the Legion is still fine. It just the grade 2 is just hard to spot in the deck. I'm just gonna go straight into the Chronojet, but even if we missed, we can still fix it. So just a little FYI there. If I just draw into it, I won't consider ditching it with the Stride Fighter to search Chronojet. It's just more value to just have that extra trigger in the deck, in my opinion. Oh, grade 2. Swing with Vanguard first to heal. What did we say? What did we say? What did we say? I promise you it's not scripted, it's like, it's in real time, right? Like, justifying it as an authentic experience, realistically, I'm a lazy ass. That's just how it is. It's both, okay? It's both. I'm just too lazy to edit and then do all that, you know, it takes too much time. Fighting with 2 cards, a little iffy. Going to Pegasus, playing against that resist. Come on, I like that. And removing the grade 1s could call up PGs. So that's something. And then using the Chrono, yep. 14, 16, 26. Soul Charge, it's pain. But again, yeah, if you play the Soul Charge 1, I would be a lot more comfortable playing the Legions. And honestly, the grade 2, yeah, like, you know, because our soul is already so tight, you know, I find it's a good card, but I find it hard to just slot it in without the grade 3. So yeah, let's see what we're gonna be put up against. Wow, they Pegasus, we Pegasus. Yep, Pegasus turn. We could also choose to go into the Fate Rider to fix our grade 2s. It's okay, we just top deck. That's fine. Alright, they still got 1 resist, but that's fine. I'm not interested. 9, 16, 26 is fine enough. And we still have one heal? One heal. But yeah, unless like you really don't have the GRs, like generally speaking, you'd only expect one upheaval Pegasus just for that one turn. But it's because, you know, not in all matchups would you need it, but in most, you know, like strong, like trying to compete decks like Narukami or Gears, you know, you do have your resist units and you do need to find a way around them sometimes to push. So here, yeah, no second upheaval, just going to the Fate Rider instead, which is, you know, always a great option. SP as well. So I like this Yuzu guy already. Yuzu. So yeah, this is, you know, they can search into the grade 3, I guess, for that stride cost, but I'm not a big fan of it. I've never been, but I know some people do play it. I think DF plays it. To each their own, I guess. Alright, going into the resist, because resist good. Giving that power to the rear guard. They could hit that 21k number. Yeah, they could, but I don't think it's there's a point. I mean, bounce it, and then, you know, it's one last thing we kind of asked for, and they get to set up a back row, but I guess not. Alright, playing the Legion at 4 probably, and the heal back to 3, that's painful. No, I don't like you. That's a draw trigger, that's a triple trigger. That's a triple trigger turn. Yeah, with 1 heal left, it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Alright, what are we gonna do? I think we Fate Rider as well. Or do we Rhyme the Clock? We have 3 defensives. How many resists do we still have? We have 1 more. Yeah, let's wait for 1 more turn before we do anything rash. We can still set 1 resist that they can, you know, play around. So let's just do that for now. PG, that's nice. I'm gonna call this down. Call this. Not necessary. We're gonna bounce the GG. Call the resist. Power doesn't matter here. 16 and then 29, I guess. I was just gonna say 26, but yeah, I tested 441 with the double rare as a one-off, but I just rather get the Chronojet consistency because we do have play Upheaval and we do play Nextage. There's like 3 cards in your G zone that's dedicated to Chrono, so I think it's important. Alright, we have 3 PGs, 1 Heal Guard, we have 2 Stride Fodders, and a Steam Breath. Glimmer Breath? Oh no, is it Glimmer Breath? Is that the name? I think it's called Glimmer Breath. Well, there you go. I guess I hope I course corrected. I hope I didn't just get it wrong for the first time this time. Continuing striding. That's the way to go. Oh, going into Nextage. Okay, that's scary. We do have 1 Heal Guard, but we don't have grade 3s for the we should have dumped the Stride Fodder. Oh, we were too greedy with the with the Fate Riders. Oh man, that's a misplay. That's a terrible misplay. Should have kept the grade 3. Should have kept the grade 3. How many triggers did they have left? 4 triggers left. 4 triggers left. They also have the Guard Restrict with this, which frankly doesn't matter. Now I'm only hoping for a misplay for them to use the booster on the 26k attack kill for 33. They're not gonna misplay. Now just hoping for them to not see that trigger. 1 left. Oh! That's the trigger, and so that's their way of getting around the Heal Guard. You know, Chrono is going to be a 16 plus 12 now, 28, hitting over that defensive. So we have a 1 in 14 chance to hit a Heal Guard, to 6 damage shield. Can we see that 6 damage shield? Oh my, what the? Again, it's not scripted. This is real time. It's crazy how this happens too. You know, don't hit the player, hit the game. Are we gonna go to our next stage? We're gonna go to our next stage. Alright, we might need that 11k beater to actually hit. So we do need to ditch the Stridefighter. But yeah, you saw just now, small misplay against the matchup could have ruined my, could have definitely ruined my my game right there, right then and there. Could have been over. Yeah, let's chuck this. Let's get this out of here. Out. They have 2 PGs. I am scared that they have that. Do I have draw triggers? Okay. I'm gonna not be as much of a risk taker. Alright, well they saw the draw trigger, so I guess coming in the booster wouldn't be that big of a difference anyways. Oh no, it would! Because then, right now, we have to sack a trigger. Do we use the skill? They can't stride, they're 9+4. How many stride fighters did they show? One, what is this? No, come on. Can I check what's in your soul? How do I check the soul? Opponent's soul. Okay, they might still have a stride fodder. Screw it. Let's just go for game. Let's go for game. Let's go for game. Let's go for game. Come on, draw trigger. Come on. There's 2 left. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There's no grade 3s. We won. Double draw trigger. We're so good. We're so good. We're so good at this game. We're so good at this game. Why are we so good at this game? Why are we so good at this game? GGW key. Get clapped by 6 damage heal and sacking draw triggers for compensating misplays. There you go. Boom. There. So yeah, I hope that was as exciting for you as it was for me. Like video if subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Thank you so much for real though for Nova Grappler and 2 Mellow for being members of this channel and supporting it. Feel free to consider supporting the channel by just liking the video, subscribing, and commenting as well. And of course, if you can, you know, maybe be a member and do all that shenanigans too. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's been a crazy. I think this is one of my. I think this is gonna be one of my favorite videos so far. Yeah, it's a really. I think it's a really good one. So let me know down below what you think about G-Set 4. What you think about Gear Chronicle right now in JP? How about back then in Global? So that's basically it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Next one is probably gonna be Fighters Collection or Messiah on JP. Messiah's pretty nuts too, so I can't wait. Alright, see you. Bye. This is the part where you close the video. Oh, this is the part where you click one of these buttons, which sends you to another video, or subscribe. Yeah, I don't really know what to say in this part of the video. Okay, I'm just gonna click the end record button.